All right, y'all. We are live on this beautiful, beautiful spring day. That's right. It is the first full day of spring, I think. It's a Sunday. The sky is blue. The roosters are crowing. May all of you be blessed in the name of Jesus, our Messiah and our God. We have a lot of very interesting things happening today on the Bitcoin chart. Now, before I get into it, let me just say the purpose of this video is twofold. First, we're going to be going over Bitcoin price, Bitcoin trading, how we should be looking at this. Then we're going to be going over how to trade altcoins with marketcipher, because I know that I always talk about Bitcoin and people are like, can you use these strategies for altcoins? And I'm always very vague. I'm like, yes, but you need to tweak it. So we're going to go into that today. And I think that's going to help a lot of people. The goal of that is to basically have it so that you have multiple assets that you are always looking at, so that there's more potential for you to trade. Because the thing is, when you have a strategy for a certain asset like Bitcoin, let's say you have 3 strategies for Bitcoin. If you only have a certain amount of time to trade per week and you don't have an entry for any of those 3 strategies, it can be very advantageous to you if you have a strategy for trading other assets, other altcoins. So we are going to get into that today. Let me just get into the chat and make sure things are rolling. What is going on, Jagged Mountain? What is going on, everybody? Creepy Joe, Derek Smith. Guys, FOMO into the like button real quick, just so it can help the algorithms. As you guys know, Tesla just bought $3.5 billion in my like button and is going to accept it as a payment. So if you guys get into the like button now, you will be able to buy a Tesla. And when we take a look at the chart for the like button, we can see it's gone completely parabolic. There is no end in sight. And yeah, the Jason Casper like button is also trading on Bybit. Most people don't know that. But yeah, guys, FOMO in. And let's get into this Bitcoin stuff first. So we dumped, right? We had this big dump. Now, firstly, let me just say it is a weekend, guys. So when things happen on the weekend, when we have big dumps, when we have big pumps, it's important to remind ourselves not to be scared, not to be excited, not to be euphoric, not to really be anything, because we know that volume is lower on the weekends. A lot of traders take the weekends off. And historically, we just see things like this happening on the weekends, and it historically has not been a great time to enter into a position. However, I love coffee. However, I want to just note some of the important things that have happened on the chart. If we go to the daily chart, okay, we were forming some kind of triangle shape, and it looked like, we broke below that. But if we turn on our lines here, we can see that there's a really good chance that we actually might come back up into here. And some things I wanted to take note of. If we're watching our key daily levels, okay, our key daily levels are levels of support and resistance that we draw on the chart by looking at historic places on the left of the chart where price has found a sticking point and has interacted with a lot. So we came down, well, this level right here is one of them. And then this is the next one right here. So we have the 51,600 level, and then we have the 55,623 level. Look at how perfectly we came down, and we are currently getting a bounce off this daily level. And if we just look at the chart objectively here on the daily, it's easy for us to get caught up zooming in and seeing all the ups and downs, but really, we have been trading within this range for a week, right? For a whole week, we have been trading within this range. And this is really important, guys. Whenever Bitcoin is trading within a range, we need to change our mindset. Well, it depends on what your mindset is. But for me, as a swing trader, as somebody who's looking to capitalize on large moves like this move that we capitalized on 2 weeks ago, well, I guess, yeah, it was the beginning of 2 weeks ago. We need to change our mindset from trying to get these huge moves to looking at the range and trading the range. And what I mean by trading the range is when we zoom in, okay, we can see that if we come up to one of these daily levels, okay, these are very strong support and resistance levels, we should be looking for a short back down. If we come to one of these daily levels, we should be looking for a long back up. How do we find these entries? Well, there's a few ways, but one of the best ways is simply just this. If we come up to a resistance right here, I would say it's time to start looking for a short. And the way I would look for a short is, I would say, okay, we're coming up to the top of a range. We're getting a nice rejection off of this key daily level. What you don't want to do is you don't want to enter a short as soon as we get up here, because you have no reference point. You have no point to which the trade will be invalidated if the price goes up past that. So what I mean is, what we want to do is we want to wait until we print a lower high, okay? As soon as we come to the line, we're going to first do our regular TA, then we're going to look at market cipher. If we start to come down, we don't want to short yet. We want to wait until we come back up, and when we print a lower high and we start to come back down, this is where we would look to enter, because now our point of invalidation is right here. Okay, our point of invalidation is this higher high and this resistance. Now we know if price comes above this level right here, we should get out of our trade. It helps us place our stop loss, because if we're up here and we enter right here, we have no idea, no reference point where to place our stop loss, right? The next resistance level that we have is all the way up here. We'd have to put our stop loss up here, and nobody wants to lose that much money. But if we wait until we form this higher high, this lower high, we can put our stop loss right here. And this will allow us to risk very little on the trade, and then we can ride this down to the bottom of the range. And then the opposite would be true on the bottom, right? When we're down here and we're getting a bounce, like what's happening right now, what I would want to do is I would want to wait until we have a very clear higher low, okay? Right now, we might need to zoom in a little more to see if we're printing a higher low. You might consider this thing right here a higher low. If we zoom in more, it's interesting because we're kind of just trading sideways right here. But if we can confirm like that we're placing higher lows, we got a very clear bounce off of this daily support. Okay, you could consider this a higher low. I would want to wait until we saw something more defined, right? We get the bounce off of here. If we saw something like this, let's wait and see what happens here. That's where I would look to enter a long position. And then after we do our TA, we go down to market cipher. And even on this low time frame, like the 5 minute, let's just see what we have going on here. We have this nice bottom. We have some nice clear direction. It looks like we're going to come and print another tighter wave here. So we're seeing on the lower time frames this direction, and then what we do is we go to the higher time frames and we just look to make sure things are still going in our favor. Like the thing is, we don't want a long on the 5 minute time frame just because we seem to be putting in higher lows if those higher time frames are telling us, yeah, we still have a lot of downward momentum, right? So this is looking pretty good on the 15 minute time frame. We have a triple bottom right here, and this wave is higher than these two, right? We had the snake eyes, now we're printing higher wave here. So, let's really see what happens. If we can start to see a clear direction on both market cipher and this chart, and we're getting a clear bounce, then yeah, ride it up and just look to enter little trades. And then where do you put your stop loss? You put your stop loss under the point of the invalidation, which would be this support, right? If we break below this support, then a long would be completely invalidated. And your first take profit would be at this triangle line here. Your second one would be at this daily level, then at the top of this triangle, then at the high up here. So that's kind of how you need to switch your mindset if we're trading within a clear range. And again, the way we get these ranges, guys, is by looking at our daily levels. I'd say that especially trading Bitcoin, daily levels are the most important. And again, the way we're getting these daily levels is we're going to go to the daily time frame, and we're just going to look for areas where price has historically found a sticking point. And the reason it's so important that we mark these levels is because when price does find a sticking point, really what that means is that price, there was a lot of liquidity happening in these areas, right? There was a lot of buying and selling happening, and the market will naturally want to come back to those areas because the market knows, right? And I'm using that term loosely. Obviously, the market doesn't know, but people tend to push the price to those areas again because that's where there will be more opportunity for buying and selling to happen. So I'm really curious to see what happens after this weekend because we have been trading within a range for a week. And there's a lot of ways that we could look at this. We could even look at this as a giant bull flag, right? Where we have a flagpole coming up right here. And then we're trading in this kind of channel right here. And then we could continue upwards. And if we do continue upwards, it is our target right at the top of this channel. Like if this bull flag is actually a bull flag, then our next target would just be at the top of this channel, this trend line right here. And if anybody doesn't know what a channel is, they're basically diagonal support and resistance levels. And as you can see, we have been trading within this channel, right? So resistance, support, we've been trading within this channel since the beginning of January. So it would not surprise me at all if, we came down, we came up, we consolidate for a little, then we come back up and hit the top of this channel. There are other possibilities as well, guys. Okay, we cannot ignore the fact that we are printing bearish divergences on these larger time frames, right? We cannot ignore this. This is something that we need to take into account, right? We are forming bearish divergences here. So what that means, guys, is we need to keep our eyes on these daily levels. Again, these are all my levels here, okay? This is my main chart that I use to trade. I know it's sloppy, that's why I don't really show it. But if we break below this daily level at the 55,000-ish, 55.5, our next daily level is going to be down here at the $51,000 level, which would put us back to the bottom of that channel. So we need to be ready for both of those scenarios to play out. And the way we are going to make the right trading decision is we are going to look at our levels and we're going to use marketcipher together in Confluence. And we say this, okay, if we're coming to a support and we're getting a clear bounce like we are right now, let's look and see what marketcipher is saying. If we go to the 4 hour, we're getting a bounce off of this support right here. But the 4 hour is telling us, okay, it looks like momentum's coming back up. We have the VWAP starting to point up, but it also looks like we have a lot more downward movement to go before we get to the bottom. So we would zoom in a little bit, see if we're starting to print any kind of bottom on a significant time frame. We have a double bottom right here on the 1 hour, okay? This would be a great place to say, okay, the 1 hour is looking bullish. Maybe you'll say, okay, once I see that confirmed on the 2 hour, that's where I would look to possibly enter. Again, we're not just using marketcipher, we're not just using technical analysis, we're using a combination of both. And also we're using the historical facts that we've been trading within this range for quite some time. We've been trading within this range. This $55,000 level historically has been a very strong support. All right, let's go into the chat, see if we have any questions here. Wow, guys, almost 500 viewers and only 90 likes. Guys, FOMO into the like button. As you know, and I said at the beginning of this stream, Tesla just bought $3.5 billion in the Jason Casper like button. And if you get into my like button now, guys, it is going to be worth a lot in the future. We can look at the chart. Jason Casper like button is trading on Bybit. Completely parabolic, no end in sight. And I think it is one of the, I usually don't give financial advice on this channel, but if I had to give financial advice, I would say liking this video is probably one of the most sound investments you could possibly make. Okay. Let's keep our eyes on this, guys. There's a lot of things to consider here. A lot of things to consider on Bitcoin. So what I really want to talk about today, y'all, is trading altcoins, okay? Trading altcoins using marketcipher, and I put this in the description of the video. But this is the outline that I use to trade altcoins, and there are two specific strategies that I use, or I shouldn't say strategies, but there's two overarching outlines that I use to trade altcoins. The first one is finding those huge pumps, finding those undervalued altcoins that are just going to pump 20, 30, 50, 100, 200% randomly. You can make so much money if you just find those coins and buy them before they pump. And it's actually really easy to do with marketcipher and just a little bit of technical analysis, okay? The second is trading those higher cap altcoins like Link, the top 10, top 100, top 50, top 21, top 73.5 altcoins on CoinMarketCap, and how to develop a strategy for trading these. Because again, if we're only trading Bitcoin and Ethereum, a lot of times especially if we're swing traders, right, we just won't have the opportunity to trade. Like this past week, I entered 2 tiny trades, and that was it. They were tiny trades. I did not have any good swing trade opportunities, and because I don't watch the charts all day, I can't just sit there and make small trades all day. So we are going to get into that. Guys, if we come down again and we get another bounce off this this support, that would be really, really great again. But anyway, let's go into the chat and see if we have any questions. Julian F. wants to know, would I enter if the 2-hour prints a green? Well, if the 2-hour does print a green, I would very much be looking to find an entry, but I would need to make sure, because here's the thing, this is not, just so you guys know, when I'm looking at making smaller trades just based on a range, this is not using the 4-hour 24-minute strategy. This is using a different strategy where it's basically very similar to my scalping strategy. So what I will do is I will look for multiple confirmations. Let me put on marketcipher A, right? Marketcipher A, and what I would really like is to get some confirmation on lower time frame. Like if I see on the 10-minute that we have a very clear direction, we keep showing that we're, if we zoom out on the 10-minute here, and we are clearly seeing this kind of direction here on the lower time frames, and then we come to the 15 and we're still seeing it, right? And then we come to the 20 and we're still seeing it, then yes, I would enter. But just because we print a bottom on the 2-hour, we need to keep in mind that our higher time frames are still bearish. So what our goal is here is to look at the lower time frames and try and predict what is going to happen on the higher time frames. When we see this market manipulation stuff, we need to be very careful. So if I do see that bottom on the 2-hour, I would want to go to the lower time frames and make sure that I have a very clear direction up, okay? A very clear direction up. Something like this right here on the lower time frames is what I would want to see before I enter on the 2-hour. So the point is we're gonna start here, and then we are going to zoom in to get more detail so we can really see what is going to happen. But the best thing to do is, look that we're printing higher lows on the chart here, and then just come down to marketcipher and make sure we have that clear upward direction. And that's where we can feel confident entering into a trade. See if we have any more questions here. Yeah, this will be available to watch later. ADA, now on Coinbase. Would you buy now or wait? We will get into that. Spontanap says 47K coming, guys, on Monday or Tuesday. Yeah, again, we need to be prepared for Bitcoin to come back down and test those previous daily levels. I don't know about the 47,000, but the truth is, guys, if we break below the 55.5 level, our next daily level is 51.6. And if we do break below that, our next level on the daily time frame, I would say is not quite 47. I would say it's like 48, that area that we were stuck at for so long before we hit 50K. So, if we get that all the way down to 48, that would be, that would only be a 21% correction from our all-time high, which seems devastating to us from right now where we're at, but that's not unheard of in a Bitcoin bull market. Okay, it's just not unheard of. And we are printing these divergences on the daily time frame. So we will have to wait and see what happens. We always have to be prepared for bullish and bearish scenarios. All right, so let's get into trading altcoins. First, I want to talk about finding those coins that have huge pump potential. Okay, and guys, before I get into it, just so you know, we are doing a course. We are doing a trading course. If this is totally new to you, support and resistance, trend lines, how to do basic technical analysis, how to use MarketCipher in depth, we're doing a course that goes through everything. If you are completely new to trading, it goes through A to Z. It teaches you everything you need to know, even if you have never used a chart before, never traded before. And the goal of this course is to give you the confidence and the skills and the experience that you need in order to make trades and not worry about what I'm doing, not worry about what CryptoFace is doing or what anybody else is doing, to give you the confidence that you need to make trades on your own and become profitable. And it's meant for anybody who's newer to trading, who's unconfident. But even if you're a complete beginner, it will go through everything you need to know. We will teach you how to create your own trading strategies. We'll even give you some strategies that you can use that already are shown to be profitable, that we've already back tested. If you're interested in this, guys, join the Discord. Link is in the description of this video. Either send me a message or check out the channel in the Discord called, let me see what it's called here. It's called Trading Course Info. This will give you everything you need to know in here. All right, so how are we going to find huge pump potential altcoins? Well, the first thing we are going to do is we are going to identify coins with potential. It seems kind of obvious, but a lot of people skip this step. A lot of people don't even know how to find an altcoin that has huge pump potential. And really, there's two criteria that I'm looking for when I'm looking for an altcoin that has a huge pump potential. The first thing is usually that it has a history of insane highs, okay? Whether that be in the 2017, 2018 bull market or even over the summer when DeFi had that huge pump, we are looking for coins that have had a history of a high and are currently at a low. And a great example of this would be this coin right here, VIDT, okay? And actually, this right here is the Bitcoin pair, okay? But usually with altcoins, I would recommend just trading the USDT pair because Bitcoin is so volatile it can throw a wrench in things. But this is generally what we're looking for, and this is the pair that I am trading, okay? We see we had this huge high back in the day, and then you can see that we came down, and we are currently at the bottom, right? Well, we're breaking out of this now, but we came down, and we were, and still are, very close to the bottom, okay? Not just a bottom, but the bottom, right? The whole history of this coin, we are here, and we are at the bottom. So what does this mean? If you come across a coin like this, and let me just say, make sure to research these coins too. Make sure they're a reputable project. Like this one is partnering with IBM, and they have a very good real-world use cases. So do a little research. Say, does this coin solve a problem that the real world needs? Does it have a history of very high prices? Do they have a good team? And if all those things are yes, then say, okay, is this coin at a good place to buy? Now, this is the most basic thing in trading. Buy low and sell high. So this coin right here, guys, you know, this green line is pretty much the bottom, right? You know, if you put even just $1,000 in here, that you're not going to lose much of your money, right? We're at the bottom. This red line down here is the absolute bottom if you could have gotten in here. But generally in this zone is where you would want to look to buy. And there's tons of coins like this out there, guys, where you would buy in this buy zone and then you just kind of hold them, right? You would just kind of hold these coins and set alerts in TradingView at the historical resistance levels. So this was a resistance because price came here and found a sticking point here on the way up, then here on the way down, then here again on the way down. So right now I have my bags full of this coin, and when we come up and we hit this resistance, I'm going to get an alert, and I will sell. And then when we come here, I will get an alert and I will sell more. Then when we come and we break the all-time high, I will come and sell more. And here's the thing, guys. You can put just a small portion of your overall portfolio in these coins, and there's the potential here to make at least 1,200%, right? But we know if we're going to have this crazy altcoin season at the end of this bull market like we did back in 2017, we might blow this old all-time high out of the water. There's a potential to make, over 2,000% if we double it, right? And so these are like low risk, high reward trades. And obviously these are not day trades. These are long-term trades, more like an investment. But I figured I would start going over this before I talk about, more of a day trading style, because a lot of people are just leaving potential profit on the table when they have the opportunity to buy at the exact bottom, and the worst that could happen is they keep their money. It's not going to go down much, but the best that could happen is they get like 2,000%, right? So even if you just have $1,000 and that goes up 2,000%, think about the potential gains here. Another coin that I was doing this with was SOUL, right? And I was trading the Bitcoin pair on SOUL, and I had mentioned this previously on my channel, but again, we came down to a very significant low, right? A very significant low here. And I bought in right around, I didn't buy at the exact low, but right around this area I bought in, and I lost a little bit, but now we have this huge breakout of this triangle, and all I did was look for the most simple pattern, which is like a triangle shape that price can break out of, and we just came up and retested this high here, okay, and I took some out, but look at where this coin has come from, right? Look at where this coin has come from. This high right here, if we retest that high, that is giving us, a 1,318%. Who knows how high this thing could go? Who knows how high? So obviously this might not be the absolute best time to buy in, but that will bring me to the second thing you're going to look for, which is, patterns, basic support, and resistance. This is the second thing we're going to look for. So let's say you see a coin like SOUL and you're trading the Bitcoin pair and you're like, okay, well, we just tested the all-time high. This might not be a good place to buy right now. What you're going to do now, if you still think that there's more upward potential here, is you're going to look and mark out some important support and resistance zones. And the way you're going to do that is you're just going to, again, see where price has historically found a sticking point. So right here, this line that I have marked out, this is a great support, okay? It was a resistance, and then it got flipped to support right here. It was a support right here. It was a support that got flipped to resistance right here. And then when we came up to this level, we had a lot of indecision before we came up and tested the new all-time high. So I would wait for price to come back and test this level, and I would create a little box here and say, okay, this is a liquidity zone. This is an area where there was a lot of buying and selling historically. So if price comes back down to this level, I will be looking for a buy before we continue on with this uptrend here. And of course, you're going to use Confluence with marketcipher B, right? Right now, we can see that the money flow has come up. Now, I know this is a Bitcoin pair, but the same principle would apply to a Tether pair. The money flow has come up. Now it looks like it's going to come back down. If we come back down and print a nice trigger wave on the higher time frames, like the daily right here, and at the same time we are coming into this liquidity zone, yeah, that would be a great opportunity to buy low and then sell when we retest this level, and then on the way up, just keep track of resistance levels and sell a portion as we go. Always take profits on the way up. And I know that a lot of people get bored trading this way, but really, guys, this is a fantastic way to make a lot of money without doing much work. Okay, I have made with SOUL, if you want to call it, quite a large amount of money, and I did not put that much into it in the first place. You know, my overall crypto portfolio, I put a very, very small percentage in, and I've grown that by quite a significant amount. Quite a significant amount. You know, I probably, of course, I haven't taken all my profits out, but, you know, the profits I have taken out have increased by almost 400%. That's quite a huge move. Okay, so you're going to look for patterns. You're going to look for support and resistance zones, areas of liquidity. These are going to be buy zones for you. Okay, and then if you do enter these trades, if you want to set a stop loss, you would set a stop loss below the liquidity zone. And then you would set your take profit levels at historic resistances. So if you're going to buy in this zone, you know, your first one would be right here. And then you're going to zoom out. And then your second one would be here. Then your third one would be here. And then, you know, once you get to that point, you're just going to let it ride, because obviously this is not the most reliable chart in the world, because this is the KuCoin chart, and I don't know what this giant purple wick is about. But if we do test that purple wick, I don't know if that's an accurate price, but that is like 4,000%. And we know how these little altcoins pump during these crazy bull markets. Like in 2017, the most ridiculous coins got these crazy pumps at the end of that bull market. And if we're trading these, and if you're bullish on Bitcoin like I am, if you're trading these pairs for the Bitcoin, you know, you can earn a lot of Bitcoin doing this if you're a Bitcoin stacker. Okay, so we talked about finding coins with potential. And again, this involves researching the project, okay? You're not just going to do this with random coins. You're going to research the project, or at least feel that you're going to combine, you know, the research of the project with the technical analysis. You're going to do your support and resistance lines, your patterns. You're going to identify buy zones. You're going to set alerts, again, because you're not going to be watching this every day, right? So at every resistance, you just set an alert. And the way you do that is you just right-click the resistance, click Add Alert on horizontal line, and just say when the price is crossing this horizontal line, I will get an alert, and then I will sell a portion of my portfolio. It's that simple, y'all. It is that simple. All right, so let's get into trading higher cap altcoins. And what we're going to do now is we are just basically going to, my goal here is to teach you how to create a strategy that works for trading some of these altcoins, because the way I trade altcoins, if I'm going to be trading them like day trading or swing trading, you need to come up with a strategy that works for that specific asset, okay? I can't take the strategies that I use for Bitcoin and use those same exact strategies for altcoins. The principles are the same, but the actual details change. The details change. And again, I put this in the description of the video if y'all want to do that. Appreciate all of you guys for being here. Julian F., can I open up a trade setup group in Discord and share some potential good trades? Yeah, I have that, Julian F., in my Discord. I have not posted in there this past week because I mostly post swing trade opportunities in there. But there have not really been good swing opportunities. But guys, if you are interested in the course, you know, there is a private Discord in here where we do have potential trades. We have, let me close this here. We have potential trades posting in here. We have, you know, VIP Bitcoin analysis, altcoin analysis, questions and answers and stuff like that in here. And yeah, it's a really great Discord. But mostly the priority in this Discord is the course, guys. It's the course where, you know, we go over everything about trading and stuff like that. And guys, wow, we have almost 600 viewers in here, and only half of y'all have liked the video. And I don't mean to be a stickler for likes, guys, but, you know, the news speaks for itself, guys. When CNBC is publishing the fact that Tesla is buying $3.5 billion in the Jason Crypto like button, Jason Casper. I used to go by Jason Crypto. Guys, look at the pump that you know what happens every time Tesla goes into something, right? Remember what happened to Bitcoin. Okay, my like button, as you can see, right up here, the Jason Casper like button, is not only is Tesla buying it, but we're trading on Bybit, we're trading on Coinbase, and again, I usually don't give financial advice, but you know, this is the opportunity of a lifetime to FOMO into that like button. FOMO into the like button. We are not going to come back down and test the support. We are going straight to the moon. All right, we are going to Jupiter. I love Jupiter. Is that the way you say it? Jupiter? I think so. Jupiter. Thanks, guys. Thanks for FOMOing in. Thank you for FOMOing in. Yeah, I appreciate that, y'all. I really do, y'all. I'm just a farm boy out here. I don't know how to say Jupiter. I don't know nothing about science, but I will tell you one thing, all right? My like button's going to the moon. All right, so let's talk about creating strategies for trading higher cap altcoins, right? I'm talking about Chainlink. I'm talking about Litecoin. I'm talking about Bitcoin Cash and EOS and all them things, right? So if we go to CoinMarketCap, I'm sure lots of people have their favorite altcoins, and man, things are looking pretty red. Which, you know, it's a weekend, but usually gives us a good opportunity to buy, right? Uniswap, Litecoin, Chainlink, Polkadot, and even some of these lower ones here. You know, Tron. Tron just had a really nice move. IOTA, all these kinds of coins. Here is the outline. Here are the steps for creating a trading strategy to be profitable with these altcoins. And guys, if you want my Bitcoin strategies, the strategies I use primarily for Bitcoin, come over to my channel. Make sure to subscribe and all those things I'm supposed to tell you as a YouTuber. Come to playlists. And I have a market-cipher tutorial playlist where I really, in all honesty, guys, outline some very powerful back-tested strategies, a scalping strategy, my swing trading strategy, my 4-hour, 24-minute strategy, and these have been helping a lot of people start to become profitable, right? Check out these videos, and you know, if you're struggling with market-cipher trading, check out these videos. And guys, if you don't have market-cipher, it would really help me out if you do use the link in the description of the video. My affiliate link obviously would help me out because I would get a commission. But you don't have to do that. You don't have to use my link at all. Alright, so the first thing we are going to do is identify coins that trade smoothly. And what I mean by that is this, y'all. Sometimes when we look at certain coins, okay, certain coins, they do not trade smoothly. They trade like very wicky, right? The candles tend to be very wicky, and there's just not a lot of smooth price action, okay? Let me see if I can show you an example of what I mean by that. Like even VidT is a great example, right? Look at these crazy wicks here, right? We don't want to be trading altcoins that have these crazy kind of wicks that make it impossible to like put in a stop loss or anything like that, and have big gaps in the candles and stuff like that. We don't want to be, you know, day trading or this type of price action where we have tons of dojis and gaps in the candles and long wicks and who knows what, right? We don't want to be trading these kinds of coins on the lower time frames. We want to stick to the daily and the weekly for these kinds of things. We want to find coins that are trading smoothly. So Ethereum, right? This is, some people don't even consider this an altcoin, right? Chainlink. These coins that have high volume, we want the volume, right? We want the volume, we want the volatility. We want to be able to see that the price action is moving in a way that is, obviously, we can't say predictable, but it's not so erratic that it becomes meaningless. That's the first thing we want to look for. You know, we got Tezos, we got Bitcoin Cash, right? And actually Tron. Let's do Tron as well, because that really. Let me add this here. Wait a second. What is the ticker for Tron? TRX. I did XRT. I always get confused. Whoops, what is going on, guys? My computer's falling apart. Okay. We'll do Tron as well, if it ever loads. Yeah, now Tron, this thing, these candles are wiki and stuff, but you can see that they move in a nice smooth way. It's smooth, right? We don't have a lot of gaps in the candles. We do have a lot of wicks, but we don't have a lot of gaps, which makes it easy, to set stop losses and take profits and things like that, as long as we are using marketcipher. So that's the first thing. We want to find coins that we want to trade, right? Even though we want to be able to trade multiple assets, it's very hard, and I'm not saying it's impossible, but it is very hard to just go on to, let's say, Binance or KuCoin and just start trading coins without really knowing much about them, without really knowing the history of their price action. We need to be somewhat familiar with our coins. So maybe choose in the beginning, like maybe 5 or so assets that you want to start trading, that you like the way the price moves historically, and you want to start trading those. Then what we're going to do is just basic technical analysis. And what I mean by that is we're going to do our top-down analysis. If you want to know more about this, I recommend the course, which will go into very much detail about top-down analysis, how to find those key levels that we can really use to trade. But I would start by going to the daily time frame on some of these coins. Let's do Litecoin, and we're just going to mark out our daily levels of support and resistance. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to start to the left of our chart, and we are going to find areas, again, where price has historically found a sticking point. And we see one right here, right? The reason this is a level is because it was resistance, and then it was support, and then it was support, then it was support, okay? And we're just going to do that. We are just going to do that where we find price coming to sticking points. Boom. Boom. This is a really good one there. Yeah, I would put one here too. Yeah, I would say that this is one that we're kind of at one right now. And then right here, okay? We're going to mark out these levels, and we're going to start in the daily, then we're going to go down to the lower time frames, maybe the 4-hour, and we're going to look for sub-levels, okay? Sub-levels in between these daily levels where price has found a sticking point historically. And one that sticks out to me is right here. And guys, it's very important when you're doing this to make sure that you are color coding your support and resistance levels, so you know that the blue are the daily, and for the 4-hour, let's do orange, just for an example's sake. And where else do we find a level? I would say we found one right here as well. Okay, so these are the levels that we are going to be using to trade, and so far it's just like what we were talking about in the beginning as we were trading Bitcoin. Okay, we're going to mark out these levels, and this is going to be the foundation for all of our trading. This is going to be the foundation. The reason this is the foundation is because whenever price gets to one of these levels, we are going to have some kind of reaction, right? We are going to have some kind of reaction. Are we going to get a bounce off of a support like we did right here where we came down this purple wick? Boom, we got a nice bounce off of that. Or are we going to get a rejection off of a resistance? Now, you guys know rejection happens quite often. This resistance up here, this blue resistance, is, like I always say, she is that beautiful girl with that flowing, gorgeous hair, beautiful eyes, right? She's that hot girl in school. And the price action is that nerdy guy. He's the underdog, right? He's nerdy. He has a great personality, right? But the thing is, he's shy. He's shy and he doesn't have a lot of friends. But finally one day he gets the courage to come up and ask this girl, hey, after school, maybe we could hang out. And what does she do? She rejects him. She rejects him, and he's so depressed, he comes all the way back down to this 4-hour level and then sinks even deeper down into this daily level. And so, when we get to these hot girls on the chart, we need to be expecting some kind of reaction. Is she just going to say, yes, I will go out with you? Probably not. She's super popular. She's super popular. Okay? And this guy, he tried in the past to ask her out, and she felt bad for him, so she went on one date with him, but then she rejected him. She said, look, this is just not working out, okay? She was getting embarrassed, right? The other popular girls were making fun of her. So when we get to these key levels, we are looking for a reaction in the price. And that's why this is our foundation for trading. Okay, these levels are very respected, right? We drew them out, but look at how they are respected. Look at how price tends to trade within these levels historically. It's just the way it is. We traded within this range for a long time. We traded within this range, then this range, then this range here for a very long time. Okay? When we get to these key levels, especially a daily level, we are looking for a reaction. That's why we're marking these out, okay? And this is our basic TA. If you want to know more about technical analysis, again, link to the Discord is in the description. And when you join the free Discord, there's a channel in here called Trading Course Information. Check it out. It will give you everything you need to know about the course. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, y'all, is we are going to choose the best time frames to trade. And this is very important. Okay, this is very important. Now, when we're using marketcipher, specifically marketcipher B, we can get very conflicting information, right? Extremely conflicting information. We could be seeing that we are super bullish on the 4-hour, come to the 8-hour and see that we're super bearish, come to the 24-minute, see we're super bullish, 15-minute bearish, 10-minute bullish, 6-minute bearish, and people are like, oh my goodness, how am I going to know when to enter a trade? Because I'm looking at this time frame here, and it seems like things should be going up, but then I enter long, and then I realize after the fact that there were higher time frames that were invalidating my long position, or the opposite, people enter on a high time frame and then realize that on the lower time frames we're heading to downward momentum, and so they enter long and then the price immediately starts dropping down. It can be very frustrating. So what we need to do is we need to find two time frames, and let's divide this into subcategories: the environmental time frame and the execution. And I'm not talking about execution like somebody getting their head cut off with a guillotine, right? I'm talking about where we're going to execute in and out of our trade positions. And here is how we're going to do that. And this is going to take some work, guys. This is going to take some work on your end. But here's the thing. Trading is not easy. You can't just get marketcipher and expect that you're going to start winning every trade. You still need to put in the work, right? Because marketcipher is basically interpreting this price action and translating it into another language for us. It's giving us a visual representation. It's like sign language in a way, right? It's like sign language. You know, when you watch those, the governors in the United States give these urgent COVID-19 updates, and then you see these clowns look like clowns. No offense if you're a clown, okay? No offense, but you know how those clowns can be, okay? If you're a sign language person on TV and you're doing, okay, I don't mean to offend anybody, right? But those sign language people, right? They are giving these crazy visuals. They are like flipping out over here with these crazy facial expressions, doing all this stuff, you know. That's what marketcipher is for us, right? It's giving us a visual representation of this data. And so we need to learn how to use it, right? Once we learn how to use marketcipher, it is an amazing tool that can really help us find those awesome entries. But what we need to do now is we need to look at two different time frames. We need to find one that we are comfortable with in identifying the environment. Here's how we're going to do that. We're going to look at different time frames, and really what we're looking for is, and Litecoin is pretty easy to do that, but it changes from asset to asset. We are going to be looking for a time frame where we can clearly see that when money flow crosses over from red into green on marketcipher, that consistently we get a nice spike in price. And when money flow crosses from green into red, consistently we get a low spike in price. And what we want to do is we want to find the time frame that is most accurate at having these different kind of changes, right? We want to know that as soon as money flow crosses over, we are getting as close to the bottom of the move as possible, and as soon as money flow crosses under, we are getting as close to the top of the move as possible. We're going to be looking at money flow and overall direction. If you come, and this is for the higher time frame, if you get to a time frame and you see something like this clear upward direction on market cipher B, and a clear money flow crossover, and you say, okay, wow, that was the perfect predictor of an upward move, that is how you will want to decide on your higher time frame. So it's going to take some experimentation. It's going to take some back testing. You're going to have to compare time frames. And the reason we're looking for this is because this will be to cut out all the noise of looking at multiple time frames that are telling you conflicting things. If you can find one time frame that is very accurate at predicting the tops and bottoms of the moves in general, the overarching, you could call them swings, right? Finding the swing lows and the swing highs. That is a time frame you will always want to use as your reference point. Okay, so let me show you how I'm going to do this. I'm just going to mark all the areas where I see direction like this, where we have a clear bottom, a clear anchor wave. And a lot of people get confused about what exactly constitutes an anchor wave and what constitutes a trigger wave. Well, an anchor wave isn't necessarily, we are not necessarily looking for a specific length of wave or a specific dot on the bottom. What we are looking for, guys, is when we look at market cipher, we're not just looking for dots, we're not just looking for waves, we're looking for the overall direction of this thing, right? The overall direction of this thing. And if we draw on it, right? If we draw on market cipher like this, and we just kind of outline the tops and the bottoms, an anchor wave is a point where you have found a bottom, right? Generally, if you're outlining market cipher, it's the bottom of your red outline or whatever color brush tool you are using. And this is going to be our reference point or our orientation point from which all other waves are measured, from which all other waves are compared. We're not just looking for these dots, okay? We're not just looking for these big dots. We're looking for these big dots in conjunction where the waves come down, and if we're outlining market cipher, it's a clear bottom, okay? And we can see direction upward both to the left and to the right from that position, okay? So if we find an anchor, and then we see clear upward movement both to the left and to the right, and we start printing consecutively higher waves, right? We have these bottoms, and then we start forming higher waves, and we have a money crossover. And if we're looking at that chart and we consistently see every time we have an anchor, triggers, money flow crossover, it predicts that we are going to have a significant move upward, that would be the time frame that you would want to use as your environmental time frame, because that time frame, you know from backtesting, is accurate at predicting when the market is going to move. And when the market starts to move upwards, then you can go into your lower time frame and find great entries using support and resistance and market cipher B. And if the market starts to move downwards, then you can go into the lower time frames and find great shorts using a combination of technical analysis and market cipher B. So right now I'm using, this is Link, and you're just going to experiment, right? You are going to experiment and see, okay, we had an anchor, we had a clear direction. As soon as this money flow crossed over, wow, look at this, we had a huge move upwards. Again, as soon as money flow crossed over, wow, we had a huge move upwards. As soon as money flow crosses down, right here, well, we had a small move downwards. You know, we had a small move downwards, not necessarily the best move, but we did see a clear anchor right at the top here because we can see downward movement from the top on the right and on the left. Okay. So you could say, okay, yeah, we saw this coming, but the money flow crossover didn't really happen to predict it in time. And you're just going to do this until you see the most accurate time frame possible. And for a lot of these altcoins, it might be the 3 hour, it might be the 2 hour, it might even be the 2.5 hour, right? We need to experiment with these, okay? The 2 hour seems to be pretty good for Link, right? It seems that whenever we get this this money flow cross under, in general, we get a nice dip, and whenever we get the money flow cross above, we get a nice upward movement. Okay, so let's use the 2 hour just as an example as our environmental time frame, and then we are going to go to a lower time frame, and we are going to start to look for synergistic properties. Okay, synergistic properties, and here's what I mean by that. We are going to start building for ourselves an algorithm, meaning we are going to come to our higher time frame, and we are going to decide on certain confirmations that we will not enter a trade unless these confirmations are met. So let's say on the higher time frames, we are going to set the condition for ourselves. We will only enter a trade if we see a clear anchor, and then we see 2 clear trigger waves, and it looks like the money flow is crossing up. Okay, this is just an example. You are going to have to use possibly even other indicators. You know, a lot of you guys know I like the Wolfpack ID indicator. Wolfpack ID, which gives me more. You know, I will only enter a trade if this thing crosses above the 0 line, or enter a short if it crosses below the 0 line, right? It's actually a pretty accurate secondary confirmation. You might say I will only enter a trade if we get this anchor, we get 2 triggers, and Wolfpack ID is crossed over, right? So that would be our condition to enter right here. And once we get all our conditions on the higher time frame, then we're going to set up some conditions on the lower time frame that will allow us to enter the trade. And this is basically how we're creating our algorithm or our confirmations. And we're going to write them down, right? So we'll write down our confirmations. And again, we're going to stick to these. So 1, we have anchor, 2 triggers, and Wolfpack ID are going to be, they're going to be our confirmations on the higher time frame. Okay, then we're going to come down to the lower time frame, and we need to find synergistic properties. We need to look, once these higher time frame conditions are met, and we can confirm, okay, we know that when we get an anchor, 2 triggers, and a Wolfpack ID, that in general, we're going to see a huge move upwards, like what happened right here, okay? Like, again, well, see, Wolfpack ID didn't confirm here, but it did happen right here. And we got this nice little move upwards. Okay, where else did it happen? Let's see. It happened right here. We got a nice move upwards. Okay, so we know, okay, when these things happen on the higher time frame, we're going to get a nice move upwards. Then we're going to go down to our lower time frame, and we are going to be finding a way, synergistic properties, where we know if the higher time frame is giving us our confirmation, then we're going to look for X, Y, and Z on the lower time frame, and that will that will guarantee that we will get a good move. Okay, so then we're going to try and find a lower time frame. Let me come down here to link/USD, and this is very sloppy. And let me clean up this chart for y'all. Let me turn off the volume as well. And what we're going to do is we're going to try and find a time frame that we can find synergy between the higher and the lower. How are we going to do that? Well, I always recommend at first that you start by dividing the number of minutes on this higher time frame by a certain number and coming up with a lower time frame. So perhaps you want to divide 2 hours, that's 120 minutes, perhaps divide 120 minutes by 4, right? If you divide 120 minutes by 4, that will give you 30 minutes. I find it's best if you divide the higher time frame into a nice round number, and I find that doing this will help you to find synergistic time frames. For Bitcoin, we like to divide by 10. That's why I use the 4 hour and the 24 minute. I am dividing 240 minutes by 10 and getting the 24 minute. If we're doing the 2 hour for Link, perhaps we would divide it by 4 and then see, okay, can we find some synergistic properties here? And again, this is going to take work. It's going to take back testing. Basically, I'm doing right now what you're going to have to do in order to find these pairs and know that you can trade consistently. One of the great things about setting up a system like this, guys, where you have your confirmations and you have your algorithm, right? It means that you can look at the chart and quickly and easily identify good trade entries. You don't have to second guess yourself. You have a system that's been tested. You know it works, okay? And you do not have to second guess. You can just look at the chart for maybe like a few minutes and say, okay, there's no good there's no good opportunity here. I'm going to move on to another asset. So once we have our confirmations on the higher time frames, the anchor, the two triggers, and the Wolfpack ID crossover, which happened, let's see, where do we have one? We had one right here on March 1st, 2020, at about, sorry, that was February 28th, at about 15 o'clock. So we want to go back in time on the 30-minute to February 8th at 13 o'clock, 13, and see if we found something on the lower time frame that would have given us a good entry, right? February 28th at 13 o'clock. Okay, what do we see February 13th at 15 o'clock? Well, we see that we got a double bottom, and then we printed the next trigger wave right here. And this trigger wave, as soon as we printed it, we had this super nice run upwards. Now, of course, we're not going to get the whole move, but the reason we don't get the whole move is because we don't know if this is the actual bottom yet. We don't know, right? We don't want to enter right here because, again, we have no reference point to put a stop loss, right? This right here is giving us a good entry. It's telling us we have upward momentum, and then we have a reference point to put our stop loss, saying, okay, if price comes back down to here, this trade is invalidated, we will exit. So we have our confirmations in the higher time frame. We have now a potential hypothesis, a hypothesis on the lower time frame, which is this. We're hypothesizing right now, and we're about to go and backtest this to see if it's true. My theory is that, okay, if we get an anchor and triggers on the 2-hour time frame where we see Wolfpack ID cross over the zero line and turn blue, and we see the money flows crossing up, then we are going to look on the 30-minute time frame, and if we see a double bottom and then we print a green trigger wave, we are going to enter that trade. And so we're just going to go back in time and we're going to look at all the instances where we got the anchor, two triggers, Wolfpack ID on the 2-hour, and then we got a double bottom on the lower time frame. So this would be the 2-hour and then the 30-minute. We got a double bottom, trigger wave. And we're going to see if all these conditions are met, how many trades would we win? How many trades would we win? So let's go back in time and see how many trades we could have won doing that. So right here again, let's see, would we have, yeah, right here, because we have an anchor, we have trigger waves, Wolfpack ID is above the zero line, and money flow looks like it's crossing up. So we would have entered, this would have been a confirmation on the 2-hour, which was March 7th at 17 o'clock. Let's come to March 7th here at 17 o'clock and see what happened. Okay, March 7th, right here, 17 o'clock. Let's put a vertical line here so that we can keep track. And what did we get? What did we get? Remember, what are we looking for? We're looking for a double bottom on the 30-minute, sorry about that, and then a trigger wave. Well, we got a double bottom right here on the 30-minute, and then we got a trigger wave right here. Well, okay, this trigger wave was actually before 17 o'clock. So we got a trigger wave right here. We got our first trigger wave right here. Would we have won this trade if we entered right there? Well, let's see what would have happened if we had entered right here. You know, we would have come up 2%, then we would have been in drawdown 2%, and then, yeah, it would have been a really great 11% trade right there. Okay, and so what we're doing now is we're building confidence in our strategy by back testing it, looking at every opportunity that it would have happened, and go back in time. Go back far in time. Let's see if we can find some more instances of this. December 22nd, right? We had an anchor, we had triggers, and we had the money flow crossing up, and we also had Wolfpack ID. So December 27th, 2020, let's go see what would have happened there. December 27th, 2020. And what we're doing is, as we make these, historical trades, we're going to keep track. So far, we can just do this: wins, losses, and then total trades, right? So far, we have 2 total trades. We have 2 wins, 0 losses. All right, let's see what happened on December 27th. We got this right here. And what did we get on the 30-minute? Well, we got a double bottom and then a trigger wave, right? We got this double bottom right here, and then we got a trigger wave. Okay, so let us come down and see what would have happened if we had entered that trade. We would have entered right here. Right here, okay? And let's see what our total profit and loss would have been. So we enter here. We could have made a nice 6.6% move right here. We could have made it. So again, as you're backtesting these, we're just looking at the potential that we have to win a trade, right? If you had stayed in this trade for more than 23 hours, you would have been in a loss, right? But okay, we'll consider that a win. So 6% move up, that's a nice win. So now we have 3 wins, 0 losses. What you're going to do is you're just going to keep backtesting your hypothesis for as far back as you possibly can. And if you can find something that has let's say that we keep doing this and we have 8 wins, 3 losses, and a total of 10 trades. Now, of course, we want to do more than 10 backtests, but let's say we did 100 and we had 30 losses and 80 wins. What this does is this lets us know our strategy has an 80% win rate, meaning we could be on a 30 trade losing streak and still know that there's hope for us to come out on top and be profitable. Okay, I doubt you'll have a 30 trade losing streak, but if you did, you could still be profitable because you have backtested your strategy and you know that you're accounting for a potential of 30 losses. Okay? But what you need to do is you need to come in here. You need to find time frames that work. You need to find time frames that work, just like what I showed you here. You need to backtest them. And then after you backtest them, and let's say you do end up having an 80% win rate, right? Well, maybe you find something, right? When you're looking at the chart one day and you say, you know what? I see something different here. And you backtest that and you find out you have an 82% win rate. And you keep tweaking this thing. Or you come up with another idea and you notice, oh, this gives me a 75% win rate. So you don't do that. Or you experiment with different time frames, right? Maybe instead of the 30-minute, you divide the 2 hour by 3 and you get the 40-minute time frame. Or maybe you divide the 120-minute by 10 and you're using the 12-minute, right? And you're just looking to see which 2 time frames have the most synergistic properties where you can know if I see A, B, and C on the higher time frame and X, Y, and Z on the lower time frame, I will enter a trade and I know that this strategy is 80% profitable. This is how we are going to start trading those higher cap altcoins. It's basically the same way that we trade Bitcoin, except it's going to take more work because there's less volume than there is for Bitcoin. Sometimes they can be much more volatile than they are for Bitcoin. But you want to give yourself opportunities to trade that extend just Bitcoin, right? If you want to actually trade and do this and make a significant amount as much as you can, you don't want to only trade Bitcoin and Ethereum, okay? Now the 4th step, guys, is identifying buy and sell zones, okay? Identifying buy and sell zones. This is taking it to another level. Okay, we're going to be using our market cipher, our best time frames, our confirmations, but we want to look at a chart, okay? We want to look at a chart Did I say we wanted to look at a chart? We want to look at a chart and just zoom out and see if we can find some really good entries where if price happened to go there, we would say this would be a really great entry. And the way we do that is, again, just with our top-down analysis, right? Our top-down analysis, where we're going to be drawing lines of support and resistance where we say, okay, if price comes to one of these lines and I'm getting my confirmations and all these criteria are true, that is a great place to buy. So you could just say, looking at the chart here superficially, that, if price comes down to this buy zone, right? You would call this a buy zone right here. Why is this a buy zone? Because we see a lot of liquidity happening here. We see a lot of buying and selling happening in these areas, and price likes to go back to those areas where there is a lot of liquidity. So you could say, okay, I'm going to keep an eye on my chart. If I see price coming back down to this daily level of support, which is also my buy zone, I will look for an entry using my confirmations. Using my confirmations, I'm going to look for an entry around this general buy zone. Okay? And sell zones, again, where are you going to set your take profit levels? Well, you would just draw lines of support and resistance, and you will set take profit levels there, okay? And depending on how long you're looking to be in a trade, obviously this is the daily time frame, but if we were to go down to the 2-hour time frame, we would have different levels of support and resistance for the 2-hour time frame, right? We look to the left of the chart, we can see something right here. Just change the color of this. We'll make it a beautiful grassy green because it is the first day of spring. We can clearly see a level right here. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. We can clearly see a level right here. What just happened? Yeah, right here. Because again, resistance, 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 resistance. Okay? And, let's see. Well, I would put one right here as well. So these are our areas. And so, right now, looks like we're getting a bounce off of this support right here. We don't yet have our confirmations, so maybe we wouldn't enter that trade. But if price comes back up here and does print a bottom, and we can kind of see what direction price is going to go in, then we would enter a trade there. You can do support and resistance lines that you draw by hand. You can pull your Fibonacci out. If you guys know how to use the old Fibonacci, I'm a big fan of the fib. The Fibonacci, guys, actually is super powerful. And if anybody is unfamiliar with how to use a Fibonacci, we actually go over it in the course. Whoa, sorry guys. Sorry, y'all. Let me decline this call. Sorry about that, y'all. I don't know how that even happened. Yeah, so Fibonacci, we talk about it in the course. Guys, I will be right back. Give me 30 seconds. Sorry about that, y'all. I apologize. Super unprofesh. I know. So, we're going to identify buy and sell zones, areas where if the price goes down, we would look for a buy. And then finally, confluence, right? Confluence between our support and resistance levels, our market cipher confirmations. If you can find a great buy opportunity in a buy zone at a support, and market cipher is also giving you your confirmations, then man, Man, it is nice. So like we had this level right here. For example, on the 2-hour time frame, this was a resistance right here. Then it became a support. It was kind of a support right here. Support, support, resistance, support, support, support. And then we come back down to the support again. And what's happening? What is happening? We have on our 2-hour, right, we have our confirmations. We have a 2-hour anchor. We have 2 triggers. 2-hour anchor. We have 2 triggers right here. Okay? Wolfpack ID crossing over. Then this would be an amazing time to look for a buy because we have our confirmations, and we saw historically that this was a area of high liquidity, right, where a lot of buying and selling is happening. So if price comes back down to this zone here, this zone, it's good, guys, when you're drawing your support and resistance levels, unless they're Fibonacci levels, and even if they are Fibonacci levels, don't think of them as lines. Think of them as zones. Okay? You get your confirmations in this buy zone, okay? And then, you know, you would go to your 30-minute, and let's see where that was. That was right here on our 30-minute time frame. And what were we looking for on our 30-minute? We were looking for a 30-minute double bottom and a trigger wave. Okay, did we get that? Did we get that? Let's see. Where are we? Here we are. No, guys, we did not get that. We did not get a double bottom and a trigger wave. So this is something else we need to take into account here, right? We want to see, okay, what can we look for on the lower... Oh, wait, this is not the 30-minute, guys. Sorry, this is the 12-minute. Let's go to our 30-minute because this is what we were back testing. Where was that? Right here. So, did we get a double bottom and a trigger wave? Well, technically yes, because if we see right here, where is my brush tool? Here it is. You see right here we had a double bottom, okay? And of course, it wasn't until later that we got our 2-hour confirmation, but we get our 2-hour confirmation, we come over here, we had this double bottom right here, we had clear direction upward, and you know, we printed that trigger wave, and we could have entered right here and then gotten this whole move up. And so this is how we're going to backtest. This is how we're going to backtest. This is how we're going to find confluence, right? What did I do? I looked at my chart. I saw a buy zone, an area of support, an area of high liquidity. And once I saw that, then I came down to MarketCipher and I said, what is MarketCipher telling me? MarketCipher was giving me my 2-hour confirmations. It was giving me my 30-minute confirmations. Boom. We enter the trade. And where do we set our take profits at? Well, we set our take profits at historical resistance levels. So, you know, I see one very clearly right here. And then we see another one very clearly right here. And, you know, we could have entered our trade right here, down here, put our stop loss below this zone of liquidity because we don't want to be risking very much. We want to be risking as little as possible. We put our stop loss right here because we know if we break below this zone of liquidity, we're coming down. Okay, and then we set our take profits here and here, and that would be how we would set up our trade for this Link USD pair. And what you're going to do is you are going to be studying charts, guys, for hours. For hours, you're going to have to be studying charts and basically just doing what I did here. And over time, you're going to come up with a catalog of strategies that you can use on high and low time frames for multiple different assets so that you, excuse me, y'all, so that you can always have something to trade if Bitcoin is not trading very well. And let's take a look at Bitcoin and see what is happening here. It's been a while, but it looks like we're really about to print a bottom here. And let's see what happened on the lower time frames. Yeah, we've got some nice bottoms here. You know, we will see what happens. I really would like to see a confirmation over this EMA, over this trend line right here. But yeah, we got that perfect bounce off the daily. We got that perfect bounce off the daily time frame. But yeah, guys, this is it. All right. Always look to buy lows. Always look to sell the highs, and always wait for good entry. I mean, these are the 3 keys right here. The 3 keys, right? The 3 keys. You have one for your house, one for your car, one for your shed. And, you know, if we just look to buy the lows, if we come back here, and this was a low, right? People are always trying to long the high, okay? Which is okay to do if MarketCipher is giving you confirmation. But in general, it's best to long the lows and, you know, long the lows with your confirmations, sell the highs with your confirmations, right? You could have just longed right up here, and then when you're back testing, you know, do the same thing for short opportunities. Back test, and you could have shorted down here. And then wait for good entries. Wait for your confirmations. Wait for confluence. That's the thing. Don't overtrade. Don't overtrade, because the more trades you are in, the more potential you have to lose. Okay? Don't overtrade, y'all. All right, let's go into the chat, and let's see if we have any Qs, see if I have any As. Guys, wow, almost 700 people in the chat. That is fantastic. Thank you. May God bless all of you. But guys, FOMO into the like button. FOMO into the like button. I mean, again, this is your chance. Tesla is pumping my like button right now, okay? It's trading on Coinbase. It is trading on Bybit, as we can see right here. On Bybit, the Jason Casper like button, okay? This is the 1 month time frame right here. There is no coming back down, okay? This is your chance to FOMO in, y'all. This is your chance. All right, let's see. Let's see if we have any questions in here. Appreciate you guys. Love you guys. May God bless all of you. Let me see. We did get a super chat. Shout out to Super Googly. Most of my assets are in Bitcoin. How does MarketCipher work with alt Bitcoin pairs? Great question. It works very well. However, we need to remember that things can change very rapidly, because I do trade the Bitcoin pairs. As you guys know, as I showed in the beginning of this video, like SOUL BTC, I trade this. I'm trading VIDT BTC. It's best, in my opinion, to not look to day trade these, to just hold them, and when the altcoin pumps to the moon, you sell it into BTC. At least in markets like this. Back in the summer when DeFi was having its party, I was big time trading Aave BTC, Link BTC. I was trading these pairs because Bitcoin was very stagnant in comparison to these DeFi coins that were pumping like crazy. Sushi was pumping. I mean, man, August, like the July-August time frame, it really depends on the market conditions. If Bitcoin is in this crazy uptrend, be careful trading the BTC pairs and trade more of the USDT pairs, in my opinion, guys, in my opinion. And there's just too many variables in the mix if Bitcoin is in a super uptrend. That's a great question, Super Googly. That's my opinion, okay? My opinion. Let's see. Do we have any more super chats? Whoa. Crypto Face was in the house. That's cool. Shout out to Crypto Face if he's still in the house. Yeah, that's cool, man. That is cool. Okay. Marco wants to know, how do you split 2 charts? The way you split 2 charts, guys, is you come up here to this 2 chart looking button, select your layout, and you can select whatever layout you want. Some plans do not allow you to have multiple layouts. So if you have the free trading view, I don't know if you can do this. I don't know. But something else you can do, which is much, much more difficult to backtest, but if you simply do not want to get a higher plan, you can just do 2 windows and make them like, you know, split one in half and then take the other one out like this and split that one in half, put them next to each other like this, and just look at the times. Like, okay, this is March 31st at 12 o'clock. Go back to the other one, March 31st at 12 o'clock. That's like the ghetto way to do it. Still gets the job done, y'all. Still gets the job done. All right. Starcadian117 wants to know if I am a chunky or a smooth peanut butter type of guy. Definitely chunky for sure. I love the chunk. I love the chunk. Yeah. Yep, I'm all about the chunk. Okay. Raised Digital Footprint wants to know, do I like to use Agora Algo with marketcipher B? Yes, I love to use Agora Algo with marketcipher B. I feel that there are some really amazing strategies that you can use with those two indicators. And pretty soon I will be talking more about that. But here's the thing that's important to remember. No indicator is going to be a substitute for your own technical analysis. Okay, but yes, I will be talking about that more in the future. Okay, got some pretty cool things here in the works. Brent wants to know how I get the reload button at the bottom of my chart. Brent, the way you do that is you just drag something, make it out of place, and then you will get this refresh button. And you'll notice if it's already refreshed, you won't have that button. So you have to make it skinnier or fatter somehow, like down here, and then you'll be able to refresh. Yep. Yeah, Fear the Tree, Agora. Yeah, I like Agora. Yeah, Ghosts, I like the BBW. Yeah, you know, like, I'll keep it professional, guys. Yeah, raised digital footprint. Yeah, for sure. For sure. What percent gains should you capitalize on? It's important to capitalize on any gains that you have, guys. It is important to capitalize on any gains that you have. Okay? You never want to leave a trade not in profit. It's important to lock in profits. What I like to do is, let's say, like we go back to our link example here, where we showed how we would have bought in this liquidity zone, this buy zone, and we set our take profit levels. You could have even set one, you know, we set our take profit levels. So you have your stop loss down here, right, below this zone of liquidity, because you know, all right, if we are going to come down below this zone, then my whole TA, my whole trade is invalidated. And then take some profit right here, you know, maybe take like 20 to 50% out. Okay, if you're feeling like a real boss, when you see this bounce coming off right here, and we're also printing another green trigger wave, you know, add back to your position right here, and then your second take profit, you could take more out here, right? But yeah, you would take some profit out here, you would take some profit out here. That could be the end of your trade because, you know, you saw this was my second resistance. This is where I'm going to go to. But the thing is, if you're in profit, always take some profits out. Always take some profits. And even what I like to do is I like to move my stop loss, right? Like I really do. Like if I start my stop loss out here before underneath this zone, right, and then we hit my first take profit here, I will move my stop loss into at least like break even. So now I've taken some profit out, and if this trade just goes all the way down and we defecate all the way down to the first floor of the building, right, and there's just a pile of, no, never mind, that's disgusting. But if that happens, I know I'm still guaranteed to be winning the trade, and that's what's most important. It's most important that we guarantee our wins, y'all. We want to guarantee that we're making money because a small gain is better than a small loss. Okay? It's all about capital preservation. Trampus Hawk says, great stream, bro. Thanks. Explanation point, explanation point. Well, Trampus Hawk, thank you so much for being here. May the Lord bless you. How do you volume profile in the toolbar in the left-hand side? Says Raj. That is a plugin. I'm sorry, not a plugin, an indicator. Sorry, guys. I deal with WordPress websites all day, so for me, everything's a plugin. And, but yeah, it's an indicator. So, there is one in here that I use right here. No, that's not it. There's a number of them. See if I can find it. Man, I always forget what it's called. I forget what it's called, guys. But there is one called fixed range, where if you do your fixed range, you could draw from here to here, let's say, and then get the average volume. Okay, fixed range. It will give you the average volume. It will give you the point of control. It will give you those areas of liquidity where you can then draw your zone, right? You can draw your zone around this point of control, which would be a great buy and sell area. Oh man, I forget the name of that indicator. It will come to me as soon as the stream ends, of course. But fixed range, that is a good one. How would I analyze Chili's right now? I don't even know what Chili's is, to be honest with you. Oh yeah, volume profile. Here we go. Thank you, Hugo. Hugo is the man. Yeah, Hugo is the man. So just go to this search. Volume profile visible range. Oh, rejected. Rejected, y'all. Let me close off my 21 EMA. I have 2 marketcipher A's on. Let's see here. Volume profile visible range. Is this the one? Volume profile. Here we go. Here's one. There's a lot. There's like a lot of them. There's a lot of them out there. And this will change. A lot of them change based on how much of the chart you have in view. But obviously this is not the one that I would usually use, so I'm going to close that off. Is there any way to take profit and not lose your position, says David Gorman. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. The way you do that is in Bybit, which I cannot log into now. You're going to set a conditional order, okay? A conditional order, and you are going to sell a certain amount of contracts. So if you have 1,000 contracts in the trade, you're going to conditional order sell, let's say 250 of them, and you will take out 25% of your profits. 25% of your profits. That's how you do it. What animal? Oh, this is a conversation. Sorry. Did I take a look at ADA already, says George Ramirez. No, I did not. And honestly, the purpose of the video is not to analyze coins, but to teach you how you can come up with your own trading strategies. This is the ADA BTC pair. Let me go to the ADA USDT. On good old Binance. Man, good old Binance. It is good and it is old. It is good and old. Well, something I would notice right off the bat, guys, is the fact that we are coming down to, we're currently in what I would consider a, again, I'm a holder of ADA. I don't trade ADA on a regular basis. But if I were to just look at this on the 2-hour, I can see that we are in this zone here, this liquidity zone, where there has been a lot of buying and selling, where price really tends to come back down to here. Okay, I can see that we have a lot of upward potential, right? We have a lot of upward potential, and I would totally be looking for a buy in this zone here. If we take a look at good old marketcipher, right, the first thing that comes to my eye here, guys, is the fact that we have a nice quadruple bottom. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, a quadruple bottom right here, and we have this clear direction, right? This clear direction, and we'd have to analyze this on multiple time frames. I would go back and do everything I outlined in this video to come up with a nice ADA strategy. But yeah, just from looking at this, if I didn't already have a huge bag of ADA that I'm just holding hopefully until the summer or fall, I would say, man, this looks like a great place to buy. And if I can confirm upward momentum, I would totally buy, and if not, then the next place I would be looking to buy is right down here, because again, this is another area of liquidity where we have a resistance, and then it's a support, and then it's a support again, and then it's a support again. Yeah. Yep. That's what I think about ADA, giving a very superficial overview. A very superficial overview. Raj wants to know, how do you confirm the short or long opportunity when you spot a divergence? Well, the way you do that, Raj, is let me kind of like show you. You're going to combine your divergences. Let's say, well, it's hard to say because we don't really have a divergence here, but let's just say, well, it really is difficult depending on the asset. If we're trading in a range, right? If we're trading in a range, then it's very easy. But if, let's say, we're going to BTC, wow, look at all these lines and stuff, man. Yeah, look at this clean, right here, this clean 2-hour bounce, man. That is clean. And then getting a little rejection off of this level here. It's amazing how price just respects these levels, y'all. It's amazing. Honestly, if you had nothing else, if I had nothing else, if I had no market cipher, if I had no wolf pack, if there were no packs of wolves in my house, and all I had was a blank, naked chart, you could just buy and sell on these levels, man. You could just buy and sell. Buy right, come down. As soon as we start bouncing off the support, buy. You know, come down. As soon as we start, even here, we get a nice bounce. Okay, we were in drawdown for a while, but we still came back up, and you could have bought right on this bounce and made a nice little move here. Could have bought on this bounce, made a nice little move here, right? Come down, you know, could have bought on this bounce, made a nice little move here. It's like, it's amazing. If you know, just support and resistance is fantastic in and of itself. And guys, if you are interested in learning all about everything I'm talking about here in thorough detail, I am providing a course, a trading course. There's a lot of people in it right now. A lot of people are really getting a lot out of this. If you want to join, just join my private Discord and come over to the trading course information channel, read the info in there, or just send me a private message and I will get back to you with the information. But yeah, and again, guys, if you don't have Market Cipher and you want it, it would help me out if you used the link in the description of the video. But when it comes to the question about divergences, which I got off on a little tangent there, let me see here. Let me go Market Cipher B. You know, so we have a clear divergence that was printing right here. Right? What we would do if you wanted to short this divergence is you would wait until we were getting a clear rejection off of this resistance, and then you would know, okay, I'm going to short here, right? We're getting this divergence, we're getting a rejection off of the resistance. You could enter here. First take profit would be down here at this support. The problem is with divergences is we never know how far price is going to drop. So just keep that in mind, right? You never know exactly how far it's going to drop, but you can know it's going to have some kind of drop. But I always wait for Confluence, right? Wait for Market Cipher and the chart to tell you the same thing, right? Like right here, right? Just looking at the 2-hour chart for Bitcoin, as soon as we print this red dot, we're simultaneously getting a rejection off of this resistance, right? We come up here, you know, as soon as we're printing a red dot and getting a rejection at the same time. Okay, right here we're printing a green dot and coming up and confirming over the support at the same time. Right, we are bouncing off this trend line and confirming over support at the same time. That's really, it's just about watching price as it comes down to these levels and then confirming it with Market Cipher. That's really how you're going to do this. Owen Kelly wants to know, exchanges, do they have a limit? I don't know. Like, I really don't know. To be honest with you, it's very rare that I actually exchange my crypto for fiat, and the only exchange that I use for that is Coinbase. So I don't know if Binance has a limit. I don't know. I've never used any other exchange to fiat. I'm a big believer in Bitcoin, guys. Like I consider Bitcoin a stable coin. I would rather have money in Bitcoin than I would in any other asset, to be honest with you. Yeah. David says, blah, blah, blah. Are we going to make money today? That is the question. Well, if you want to make money today, guys, you know, start doing what we outlined in this video, and you will start seeing a lot of entries for many different assets. People are saying Binance does have limits. Yes, Binance has limits. Okay, let's look at Chili's. Let's look at this thing called Chili's. It sounds like the restaurant Chili's, you know? You guys ever go there? It's a good place. It's a good place, y'all. Chili's. Chili's what? USDT? Or Chili's Tether? Yeah, let's do that. Wow. Wow, take a look at Chili's. Take a look at Chili's. Man, look at Chili's. Look at Chili's. Well, you know, this looks like, to me, just superficially, and keep in mind, I have never even heard of this, okay? So I'm skipping out on my steps here, right? My first steps for identify coins with potential. I don't know the potential of this coin. I don't know anything about it. But I will say it had a huge pump in the past 9 days. And before that, it was very, very, very stable. So to be totally honest with you, to be totally 100% honest, I would say that the opportunity to buy was down here, right? It's only 9 days into this pump. We don't have any other historical pumps. And we're still pretty high. We're still pretty high. If we look at marketcipher B on the weekly, we had, you know, we're coming up to the, it looks like we're about to cross over here on the weekly and perhaps get some downward momentum. If we go to the daily, we're currently experiencing that downward momentum. So perhaps if we print another trigger wave like right in here, you know, and we still see that clear direction where we had the double bottom money flow cross, then perhaps we could see another leg up. I don't know anything about this. I wouldn't feel comfortable putting any kind of buy zone here because I don't know much about the coin. But if I were to put any kind of buy zone, any kind of support, it would be right here, the support right here. Okay, and then after that, I would put a support right here, and then after that, I would put a support right here. So, you know, the 4 hours is looking good. Okay, the 4 hours looking good. The money flow is crossing over red on the 4 hour. See, I cannot really give you any kind of analysis with conviction here because I don't know anything about this coin. But, you know, it would be nicer if, you know, with the limited amount of data that we have, it would be nicer if we could come down into this zone right here, where I would look to want to buy. If we draw, let's see if, you know, it looks like we could be forming some kind of a bull flag, right? I don't know if I would do this. I don't think I would do that. You know, I would probably do something like this, right? So perhaps, you know, if we break out of this, we could then see another movement up, right? Just take the, depending on how you want to consider the bottom of this, to the top. But at the same time, this is a descending triangle, which has a potential to be bearish. Yeah. So perhaps something like that. Let's pull out our fib. Let's pull out our fib, and let's see if we can set some targets. Let's see if we can set some targets for this. And also, let's just see if we're getting a bounce off of some significant Fibonacci level. Because if we are, that would give us some more confluence here. Fib retracement, we'll pull it from the swing low to the swing high. Wow, look at that, guys. Look at that. So yeah, we got a perfect bounce off the 0.5, 50% of this move upward. And yeah, I would really like, now, knowing that this is the 0.5, I would really like to see us come back down here. But if we don't, that's okay, because we already got a very clean bounce off of here. And let's see, where would we set any targets? Well, we take another fib from the swing high to the low of that retracement. And we could see, you know, obviously our first, when I'm doing my fib like this, my first take profit zone is always going to be right up in here, between the 382 and the 0.5, which we already hit, and then, you know, then I just go up. So my next take profit would be the 618, and then the 786, and then 100% up here, which is also obviously our all-time high. And then I would just keep going up on these levels. If this is indeed just a retracement and not some kind of pump and dump operation, then yeah, if we're retracing from this uptrend, these would be targets up here, right? So that's all I have to say about that. Let me come back into the chit chat, y'all, and see if we have any more questions. Guys, I appreciate everybody who's here right now, because we have more likes than we have viewers, and I hear that crypto face is long. Ronnie Day says, Theta has been my best coin, wonder what the future holds. I have a huge bag of Theta. My brother is huge into Theta. The dude is just making tons of money right now in Theta, my brother. And he got me into Theta. And yeah, Theta's doing great. I think it has awesome potential. Raj says, thanks for the insight. We'll definitely check out your course. And can you combine moving average or EMA for confirming? Yeah. Yes, I love EMAs. I use them often. If you watch my scalping video, check it out. I use moving averages. Yeah, Luke Skywalker loves Theta. Luke Skywalker would love Theta. Absolutely. So I hear Crypto Face is long right now. Let's check it out, guys. Let's check out if Crypto Face is long. Is he? He is. High risk. Weekend danger. Yeah. Am I allowed to do this? Am I actually allowed to watch Crypto Face on my own live stream, or will I get banned for that? I don't know. Is this kosher right now to do this? I don't know. Let's FOMO into Crypto Face's like button, guys. FOMO into his like button. I don't want to get banned on here, but yeah. All right, guys. I'm gonna have to cut the stream. It's almost 10 a.m. on my time. But guys, if you guys are interested in the course, there's a link in the description of the video. I will drop the Discord link into the and guys, it's an awesome Discord. You know, I mean, look at where else will you find this this kind of technical analysis other than the Jason Casper Discord? I'm gonna drop it in here. Boom, 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 boom. And also, guys, if you don't have marketcipher yet, which I find highly unlikely, especially since you are watching this video, which is all about how to use marketcipher, I'm going to drop my link in the description here. Thanks, Richard, for calling me by my crypto face name. And yeah, guys, I appreciate everybody being here. May the Lord bless all of you in the name of Jesus, B'Shem Yeshua HaMashiach, in the name of Jesus the Messiah. I pray that all of you will be blessed, and I will see y'all in the next stream.